Christian nationalists are ruining this country. We've got Christian nationalists burning down Los Angeles. We've got Beach Boys dying. We've got these incels trying to take over the government. It's a time of crisis. So we have to reach out to these young men and hear their concerns and explain to them why they shouldn't burn America down to the ground. Because the essence of America is respecting women. Here, right here in Moscow, Idaho, we have an epidemic of Christian nationalists. They're getting out of control. They're breeding like crazy, they're disrespecting women, and they're trying to subjugate America to their depraved, theocratic, patriarchalist sex slavery. Their neo-courtship regime must be overthrown. Today, we're going to go out and try to confront them head on. I'm a Christian, I love America, and I'm willing to fight the Christian nationalists because I'm also a feminist, and I love women. And as an African American, I have to say that people are a little overfixated on this whole nationalism jag. You know, I spent my infancy in Kenya. I love Kenya. I love Kenyans. I love Japan. I love the Japanese. Christians should have more of an international focus, and we should be brokering peace between these different savage warring tribes. We shouldn't just have a Christian nation, we should have an empire of missionaries. Now, I do believe in the teachings of Rousas Rushdoony. I demand military rule by homeschoolers. That's the only way to be certain that women will be respected in this country. It's the only way to save America. So we must nuke the universities, and we should burn Hollywood down to the ground. But these Christian nationalists, you know, they're right here in Moscow, Idaho. They're giving me food poisoning at their food trucks, and they're twisting their demented priestcraft towards these, you know, misbegotten eugenics projects, not only demanding that women get a college degree, ew, but that they then go and have 6, 7, 8 children afterwards. It's sick. I won't stand for it anymore. Women shouldn't have to get a college degree. They shouldn't have to rear a giant brood of Aryan super soldiers unless they really sincerely want to. I demand liberation for these homeschooled gals. You can't just force women back into the home like that. Christian women should be allowed to participate in political and economic life, you know, running businesses, seducing powerful warlords, engaging in intrigue in the imperial capital. These are all, you know, good options out there for an ambitious young lady who might see an opportunity at that. So I just don't think we should force them into this mold, you know, of, oh, you know, you just need to study all day inside and never go outside, and then someday you'll find a bearded homeschooler, and then you'll stay in his homestead all day and churn out kids for him. And if you don't do that, you're not a good Christian. There's women that want a, you know, more noble form of what I just described, and that's great for them to pursue that if they want. But if women sense that there's more power and opportunity elsewhere, I don't think you should fault them for wanting to go for something else instead. So as long as it's not just mindless hedonism, as long as they have true love for God's people, that's the gold standard in all of this. You shouldn't guilt them about not being a good Christian if they just aren't exactly following your plan for their life. So I'm not saying that as a feminist I'm fully on board with all of the classic women's lib stuff. You read Andrea Dworkin and it's just pages and pages of axe grinding and being bitter that all these Christian fundamentalists just don't like her and don't want to listen to her. Shulamith Firestone says that the end goal of the feminist revolution is the elimination of sex. It's the elimination of sexual difference through cybernetics, and then someday, you know, children will no longer be dependent on a mother, but on small groups of post-sexual beings that agree to raise them. Thus, she inadvertently predicted Steven Universe 40 years in advance. That doesn't sound like utopia to me. I don't want to live in the Steven Universe. That sounds awful. But not all feminists are entirely like that. Earlier writers like Mina Loy said similar things about abolishing marriage, but qualified it, saying every woman of superior intelligence should realize her race responsibility in producing children in adequate proportion to the unfit or degenerate members of her sex. Sybil Neville-Ralph, a leading British feminist after World War I promoting women's health, argued that after the initial years of marriage, women of the educated classes should be encouraged to enter back into the professional world, and that this was not a threat to the biological quality of the race. So I'm just saying we shouldn't treat all feminists equally, you know, maybe that some of them have something to offer. But this continued Christian nationalist aggression against society has resulted in a superfluity of single people. Not everyone qualifies for this get a college degree and then 7-child homestead plan. So we need a positive outlet for all these incels who are just cropping up, who aren't pairing off. We need incel communes, we need femcel communes, and we need to get people off their computers and make them garden and like do art and stuff. We need more gardens, and we need to get naked in them. We need a new Christian nudism. Getting lonely people to do more gardening naked together is the only way to restore America. If you just insist that they wear clothes all the time, well then of course they're not going to have kids. It's just they're always wearing their clothes. You can't solve all these problems with government policies and big machines. You need true love. True love. It's what we need. Gardens, nudity, and true love. Only way out of this mess. Women are dying, and we need to take action now. I'm working hard every day. I'm trying to discover the secrets of true love. I'm trying to ponder the mysteries of whiteness. I've been surveying thousands of 20th century British and American female authors and feminist authors, just poring over the ancient texts, trying to understand. I'm listening, I'm learning, so join with me. Don't give in to the Christian nationalist hate. We'll read some feminist poetry before we go find some Christian nationalists to fight. So this is by Mina Loy. The parasite attaches to the English rose at a Guinea visit, becomes more tangible to himself, the exile. Mechanism he learns is built to the same osseous structure, shares identical phenomena with those populating the island. That segregated from his apprehension moves a universe of unceasing energies for the biological explorer's introspection. His body becomes the target of his speculation. His brain, ravenous for informative food, spins cobwebs on the only available branching out of facts, clings to the visceral items he has heard mentioned until they ache. Under mesmeric concentration, Exodus discovers his nerves as once mankind in pathological mysticism believed itself to have discovered its soul. David's daughter's dowries and olive eyes, virgins capitalized to tantalize. Jehovah's tailor sets up in business for himself, however, some queer marital independence on the English heir, keeping him bachelor. While through stock quotations and Latin prescriptions for physic, filters the lyric aroma of the rose. Exodus knows no longer father or brother or the God of the Jews. It is his to choose finance or romance of the rose.
Moscow, Idaho is crawling with Christian nationalists. You can walk down the alley without finding. Got one right here.
What's up, bro?